What's up, guys? Aces Beam here, and today we are going to talk college football. So, Alabama, they're 9-2. They lost to Tennessee and LSU. If you keep up with this, okay, right now they're currently ranked 8th. This is blasphemy already, but hey, they're ranked 8th, right? They lost to Tennessee, who's ranked 5th, and Ole Miss is ranked 14th, and they beat Ole Miss, right? You know what I mean? Bama beat Ole Miss. That's whatever. But reason why, and so Ole Miss don't matter, right? But so Ole Miss is losing to Arkansas, right? End of the first quarter, right? 14-3. Then hold on, my battery's low. Okay, gotta make this quick. And South Carolina is up 28-17 against Tennessee. So if Tennessee loses, right, Bama will 100% go up to like 6th or 7th, right? 6th or 7th. I'm thinking 7 if USC wins, right? So now look at it this way, right? So LSU's in the SEC championship. LSU has 2 losses, and it said if LSU beats Georgia, they'll make the playoffs. I don't agree with that, but okay, right? So here's the predicament you got, right? If Tennessee loses tonight, Bama jumps up to be in reach for the playoffs, which would be completely stupid, right? And then if LSU loses to Georgia, and let's say TCU loses, right? And then Michigan and Ohio State, one of them is guaranteed to lose. What's stopping the committee from putting Bama in the playoffs? If that happens, Bama would be put in the playoffs. And I think that's so dumb because, okay, if they lose to Tennessee, right? If they lose to Tennessee, they lost to Tennessee. If Tennessee loses tonight, that's 2 losses, one of them being to Georgia. And then if they lose tonight, again, against South Carolina, they lost to a team that lost to South Carolina, right? Now, I'm pretty sure Bama beat South Carolina earlier this year. If they did play, I'm not sure if they did play. I'm looking at this live. No, they did not play, right? So they lost to a team that lost to South Carolina if Tennessee loses. And then if LSU loses again to Georgia, LSU already has 2 fucking losses. LSU lost to Tennessee, and they both, LSU and Tennessee, beat Bama, right? And LSU also lost to Florida fucking State, okay? So if the scenario of TCU losing, Tennessee losing, and LSU loses, right? And then obviously Michigan and Ohio State. Okay. So that means Georgia would probably still make it no matter what. Georgia is in. Whoever wins Michigan, Ohio State's win the Big Ten, right? So that's in. I'm a Michigan fan, so I'm just going to say Michigan, right? But it could be either or. So you have your 1 seed being the Big Ten champ. So Michigan, right? The 2 seed would be the SEC champ, right? Which would be actually, okay, Georgia wouldn't lose, right? So actually the 1 seed would be Georgia, right? 2 seed would be Michigan, right? If Michigan wins the Big Ten, right? TCU loses, Tennessee loses, right? If Tennessee loses tonight, right? So now you have, and then LSU loses, right? Bama would be right there at like 5th, right? You know what I mean? Now the question is, would you take now USC, right? Got USC, okay? Would you take a USC who won the Pac-12 over a Alabama that has 2 losses? I would, right? But let's say USC loses as well, right? Now the question is, a ACC champion Clemson that lost to Notre Dame, which has 3 losses, right? And a loser between Ohio State, Michigan, or Bama. I'm taking the loser of Ohio State, Michigan. So let's say the 4 seed is the loser between Ohio State, Michigan, right? So in this case, Ohio State. So you'd have Georgia 1, Michigan 2, the 3, we're debating this, and 4, Ohio State, right? Now, if Clemson wins the ACC championship, would you take Clemson over Bama? That's a good damn question, because Bama would by far have a better resume besides its record. I think Bama should be completely eliminated from the playoffs at this point. They have 2 losses. This is why we need playoff expansion, because there's a lot of fucking great teams that can make the playoffs. And Bama being one of those, right? But Bama should not make the playoffs in this 14 format. They have 2 losses, right? If LSU loses, that they have a loss to a 3-loss team, and if Tennessee loses, they have a loss to a 2-loss team. One of those losses being to South Carolina, right? So Bama should just not get in. I would take a Clemson who won the ACC over them. In fact, I would probably take a 2-loss Pac-12 champ over Bama. No, that sounds wild because Bama would probably win, but the resume would be stronger just because of the championship, right? You know what I mean? You lost to the runner-up of the SEC championship, and you lost to the runner-up of the East, right? So you lost to the second and third place team in the SEC. You should not make the playoffs. You are the 4th best team in the SEC this year. 4th. The 4th best team in the SEC should make the playoffs? If a scenario where Tennessee, if Tennessee loses tonight, LSU loses in the SEC championship, in that scenario, Bama shouldn't make the playoffs, right? But and TCU, right? If TCU loses, right? So if TCU, Tennessee, and LSU lose sometime down the line, Bama shouldn't make it in the playoffs. They're the 4th best team of the fucking conference, right? They're the 4th best team in the SEC this year, right? You know what I mean? Michigan or Ohio State's going to be snubbed out of a playoff spot in that scenario because obviously one of them has to lose right next week. They would be snubbed out of a playoff spot from Bama because that's what the committee would fucking do, when I think Michigan or Ohio State would run the table with Bama this year, okay? Like, it's ridiculous that Bama's even in the fucking top 8 to me. They should be below Clemson, right? Clemson's bad, but they should be below Clemson and Utah to me. You can even make a debate for fucking Penn State. You know what I mean? Bama should not be this close to where it shouldn't be this close and this probable for Bama to still make the playoffs. If Bama wants to make the playoffs, they should hope that Michigan, Ohio State lose, right? One of them lose, right? The winner of that game loses the Big Ten championship, right? Georgia loses to LSU, right? And then TCU and USC loses their next couple games. Like, there should be a 0.0000000, basically impossible for them to make the playoffs at this point. But it's ridiculous that if Tennessee loses and LSU loses in the SEC championship, and if TCU lose, that Bama would make the playoffs. It's ridiculous because that's what would happen. But I completely disagree. I would put in the loser of Ohio State, Michigan in before I put in Bama. Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan should be 3 locks for the playoffs, right? If you ask me, if USC or TCU do not win their respective championships, right? It is absolutely ridiculous that Bama's so close. Like, they're the 4th best team in the SEC. The 4th best team in the SEC should not make the playoffs. Anyways, that's my debate. And that's my little rant. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next one. Peace.